All right. Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing today? We are live with you actually on Monday this week, you know?
Happy Monday,
No
everybody.
no random Thursdays instead.
It was a Tuesday, wasn't it?
Or it was Tuesday, yeah.
It was Turn Up Tuesday last week.
Tuesday, Thursday, they both start with T's. They're the same day, right?
It is.
Good. Yeah.
Every single time we go live, I'm like, God damn it, I didn't fix that stuff behind me.
Oh yeah, you keep wanting to spread those out.
I do
Just
wanna,
like your butt cheeks.
I do want to spread it out. Yes, I do. I always want to spread it out, but
Did you spread it out at all this weekend?
I did actually.
Nice.
So good for me. Yeah, it was a good weekend. I had my daughter this weekend. We hung out. We got to God, what did we do this weekend?
You baked.
We did. We got our Brucey on. And
Josh is trying to give me diabetes, actually.
Yes,
He's trying to turn me into Brandon.
I told Richie, I said, listen, Richie, there's a cake upstairs. It's chocolate cake with chocolate frosting with unicorns on top. So if you're hungry, you go get you some of that.
Now, what I need to know, did you put the unicorns on the cake or did your daughter?
I put 2 of them on there.
Nice.
Yeah, out of like 12, because, you know, when you're 10 and you got a box of unicorns, you probably want to do them, put them all on the cake.
You're not saving any for the next cake.
No.
They're just the cake we did now?
Yes.
Unicorns.
Yes, and pink frosting was all over that bitch. Like, we were going nuts with it. And, yeah, the cake looks like it's beautiful, but it looks like shit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's beautiful. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You don't gotta worry. I won't tell your kid, Josh.
All right, don't tell.
I can't tell you about our chat though.
They might.
Your daughter might be in
They
chat.
might tell. Oh God, I hope not. It looks great. Pretend I didn't say that.
All right,
yeah.
cut the tape.
Cut the feed.
We gotta get Steve to edit that out for the YouTube VOD.
So we did that. We made some brownies, hung out, did dad stuff. You know, we went and got movies. This is my very favorite thing about the weekends with her is I'm like, hey, do you want to go to the movie store and rent a movie? Yeah, we have one of those in the podunk town that I live in.
Yeah, you have a family video, I think,
We
right?
have a family video.
I thought those things were like as old as the dinosaurs now.
They are, and they sell CBD there. Yeah, so you can get your CBD there and a copy of the Christmas Carol.
Nice.
So, if Grandma wants to get lit on the weekend, and go numb and watch the Christmas Carol, she can.
Nice.
That's right. So, yeah, but it was a fun
Fun
weekend
for the whole family.
Yeah. How about you? How was your weekend?
Yeah, mine was kind of chill. Saturday, I just kind of hung out at home all day, played games with friends, and then Sunday went and got some sushi with Steve and Seabass, and then went back to Steve's place. We started playtesting Magic, got bored, decided to go to Kroger's and do the adult thing and buy a bunch of sugar.
Nice.
We bought some gummy worms, we bought a chocolate pie.
So Kroger is the candy store for you guys.
Basically. That's what we decided. Like, adulting is going to the store, buying gummy worms, Oreos, and a chocolate pie. And milk.
Yes.
Because you can't have Oreos without milk.
No. And, I heard something I thought it was really funny, is that anytime anybody ever says adulting, you're not actually adulting.
Oh, God, no.
It's like
I did.
the furthest from it.
The like, actual thing that, like, was the most accomplished thing I did this whole weekend was I found, like, my new binge watch on Netflix. I already watched, like, they came out with one season. I already watched it all already. It was called The Politician.
Okay.
It's basically, like, it's a political, like, show, but it's put in a preppy rich kid high school.
Okay.
And then it just, like, everything about it is over the top. Like, this
it's
one.
really corny.
Yeah, well, no, it's just, like, every character is, like, the max that they can be.
Gotcha.
So, like, the political guy will do anything to, like, win the election. He has a girlfriend, but he turns out he, like, also loves this dude. There's this girl who thinks she has cancer, but her grandma's been poisoning her to get money.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
and just, like, every character's like that.
Yeah, it's all, like, plot twists and turns.
Yeah, like, every episode is just, like, a cliffhanger on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, I've been watching a politics show on Netflix, too. I've been jamming through. So, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, it was really good, actually.
Yep.
But,
yeah, man. So, we're going to be talking spoilers this week.
Yeah.
I hope you guys are excited for that.
Hashtag spoilers.
Richie put this list together.
I did.
So I know that it's going to be it's going to be different. You know what we need to do? I know what we need to do. The next time we make a list, a top 10 list.
We need to check it twice.
Well, sort of. Yeah.
We need to find out who's been naughty and nice.
Yes. I need to make a list, and then you need to make a list, and then we need to go over our top 10s and see how.
Well, that would involve you making a list.
Yeah, no, I want to do that.
All right, good.
All right, good. Remind me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought that's what this was supposed to be, but you just never made a list.
No. What?
Oh.
Yeah, listen. The reason I have you make the list is because it's going to be a competitive list, right? You're going to look at it through the eye of a competitor, the eye of an angel, the eye of a competitor, and you're going to say, like, our number 1 is a competitive card. So, or is that number 10? Don't say what it is.
Our number 1. Yeah.
That's our number 1.
You're talking about this one, right?
Yes, the one that you have on the other screen.
This one.
Yes. So
yeah,
you're looking at it as a competitor, whereas I am 25% competitor and 75% filthy casual. So my list, I think, is going to have a little bit more of a gap.
And about 50% cake.
Yes, and 10% Brucey.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm going to eat that whole cake.
You eat that hoe?
I'm going to eat that whole cake.
All right. But you know how we normally start these shows off after bullshitting for like a random 8 minutes about nothing?
Yeah, of course.
We jump into our fun fact.
I'm pretty excited about the fun fact today.
Yeah, this one's really cool, and it's something simple, which we actually decided not to pull up a slide for it because momsbasementgames.tcg Player Pro is actually the perfect slide for it.
Yeah, it is, because for some reason we always are selling basic lands.
Everybody needs more basics, man.
They need snow-covered basics.
They need their pimpin' Ravnica Allegiance basics.
Yes.
As low as 35 cents.
Number 261.
But yeah, so our fun fact is, how many types of basics do you think there are, Josh?
I would have said 5. And no, I would. And then if you would have gave me another few seconds, I probably would have been like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about waste because that's number 6." And no, that's not true.
Yeah, there's actually 11.
There's 11
different
land
basic
types.
Lands.
Very cool.
Which you obviously have your the first 5 that are going to come to everyone's mind. Wooburg, which is plains, islands, swamps, mountains, and forests.
Mm-hmm.
But then on top of that, you have your wastes.
Yep, and that's not the number 6, which everybody would think of.
But the ones that nobody's ever going to think about because you just graze over them in your mind, the snow-covereds are their own basic types.
Yep, so 1 for each. That's pretty cool. So that makes 11 basic land types. So if you ever want to get anybody with that little fun fact, there are 11 basic land types.
11 basic land types. I seen that and I looked at Josh and I was like, we got our fact for the week. This is genius.
I love it. It is. That's good.
All right. So we got a lot to talk about, so we're going to jump right into anything. We don't have any events to talk about because there was none this past weekend. So, no results.
Correct.
But we do have a couple events coming up this weekend.
Yeah,
so
we might actually make our podcast an hour this time, huh?
We got a lot of spoilers to talk about.
And then I gotta run my sulk-hole about how I think, oh man, that'd be really cool in Commander.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, go on.
All right, but we got West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground is where I spent most of my days.
Chilling out, maxing out, relaxing out, cool.
Shooting some b-ball outside of the school.
All right, good.
All right, good. But we're not anybody going to Philly is not gonna be shooting basketball. I don't think.
No, they're
gonna be playing Magic. Right? Yeah. Oh.
Or getting shot at.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Be safe out there, guys.
Yeah. But anyways, Philly's a team event. Standard, Modern, Legacy. And so, as per usual, they have the classics for each of the formats. It's a really fun event. I've gone to it before. I've gone to it with you, actually.
Yeah, we did. We went out there, and we did okay.
Yeah.
We didn't shit the bed completely, but, sometimes people got it.
I did pretty good in the Standard Classic.
Yeah.
Top 32.
Yeah.
Escape Shift was nice.
Yeah, that deck was really cool. It's gone now, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, and then we got Indy next week, the week after that. So
which you and I are both going to be here, for sure.
I will 100% be in Indy, and I'm very excited.
Are you going to be playing?
I'm going to play.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna sling some bump in the nights at some people, and get some weird looks, but
I'm excited.
That's all right.
Hope you crush it, man.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll make another day too.
I just want to see you get on camera.
I mean, I just want to make another day too with my deck.
Oh yeah, you got this.
Yeah.
The other event we really don't got to talk much about for a while is we don't really got to talk about Magic Fest for the whole month of October.
Basically, yeah. So
Because
it's all gonna be limited the month of October.
we got Montreal this weekend. Next weekend we got Josh.
Utrecht.
And then we got, I know this one, Bangkok.
Yeah, you do a lot of that.
You watch Hangover? Yeah. Movie's great. And then this one, I know Phoenix.
Phoenix, Arizona.
Phoenix at the end
baby.
of October. So,
Yeah.
you know, all limited. So,
Then we'll pick back up on letting you guys know about the events that are coming up in November.
in
because,
Leon,
Yeah, you're not going to want to miss Lyon.
standard.
Yep.
Pretty sure that's in, like, Europe.
It is.
Look at me.
Yeah, you're a genius, man.
I am. I try. But, you know, I think that's enough. How about we get to the stuff people
Spoilers,
actually want to
baby.
hear about, which is
Spoilers.
spoilers.
All right.
So, first and foremost, we have 4 honorable mentions, and then we have a top 10. That's how I broke it down. I wanted to trim some, but I felt like it was pretty... I really wanted to talk about a lot of these cards, so...
Yeah,
we're gonna...
4 honorable mentions isn't bad.
No.
I think that's good.
Our first one, we're going to get right into it, is Escape to the Wilds. So this is a 3 colorless, a red and a green for a sorcery. You exile the top 5 cards of your library. You may play the exiled cards. Notably, it says play, not cast. Until the end of your next turn. You may play an additional land this turn.
Yeah.
So this is basically just... They actually have it under here. You remember Urban Evolution? This is basically Big Boy Urban Evolution now.
I like that, how they put a card that's similar to it.
Yeah, I always really enjoy that. That's why I like Mythic Spoilers.
Yeah, Mythic Spoilers.
But, yeah, like, the deck I really see this card seeing a lot of play in is, I see a lot of, like, Scape Shift probably playing this in the future.
I can see that.
Especially with there's a new land that didn't make it on our list, Castle Garenbrig. It's basically it enters untapped if you control a forest. And for 2 green and 2 colorless, you can tap it and make 6 green, but you can only cast creatures or activate creatures abilities.
Yes.
So a lot of people have been talking about, like, cutting Scape Shift from Titan, or from Valakut, and going to just, like, Primeval Titan through the Breach, that land. And I think this card would probably slot into that deck pretty well.
Okay.
It's just, like, another powerful 5-drop that gets you a lot of looks at Titans.
Yeah, get you the looks at Titans, and then it also helps you advance your board state.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah, so that's our first honorable mention. Our next one, you know, it might be a meta call if you got some tribal decks running around in your area, you know, little bit of, if you expect a bunch of Terrances at events, you know,
Yes.
maybe you pack some of this in your sideboard, which is Witches.
Oh, nice.
Witches Vengeance.
Nice, I like that.
It's 1 colorless, 2 black for a sorcery. Creatures of the creature type of your choice get -3/-3 until end of
Oh,
turn.
wow, they worded that differently now. I didn't even notice that.
Mm-hmm.
Creatures of the creature type.
Yeah.
Instead of being like creatures, you're like creature. Yeah, I don't know how they would word it before, but
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a weird worded one.
It's BioBlight's right below it.
Well, BioBlight's pretty different.
Oh yeah, that's target creature.
Yeah.
Oh, all
there's never really been a board white. Well, this one isn't all creatures.
Well, yeah, it's creatures of the creature type.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's pretty cool. I like this. I think so. Maybe standard. I know Richie said that knights aren't looking very good for standard, nor are fairies. Well,
Yeah,
I didn't
we
really
didn't
ask you
even
about
really get many
fairies.
fairies.
Okay, so fairies isn't really going to be a viable thing for standard, and it's looking like knights are not really going to be viable until maybe the next set comes out.
Yeah, the next set. Maybe we have to wait until the core set.
Yeah.
It might be one of those things like vampires where, you know, they give us the pieces, but the deck doesn't really form until it's about to rotate, kind of thing.
Yeah, I just don't really understand why when they print these knights, they have a chance to make an old archetype, kind of, you know, bring it back to light a little bit, and they make these 4 and 5 drops.
Well, like I think
I don't
think they're trying to make more tribal decks in like competitive formats. Like, I think they want it for, like, Commander. And, like, I think the 4 and 5 is really, like, where you can print, like, some cool abilities on things.
Yeah, it's just kind of lackluster, you know? It just doesn't feel good to me.
Yeah.
You know, I don't look at this set. That's the issue. I don't look at this set through a Commander eye and say, damn, those are some ballin'-ass 4 and 5 drop knights. I really want to make a fucking Commander deck with knights.
Well, what made you do it with dinosaurs that were 6 and 8 mana?
Well, they're really good. These knights aren't as powerful as the dinosaurs, I don't think.
Yeah, but they're like half the mana cost.
You're not wrong. Fuck you, you're not wrong.
I know. Fuck you too.
All right, what's the next
All
one?
right, let's get on to our next one before Josh and I start fighting. So the next one is actually... so I made this list, and part of me made this list off my own, like, predictions. Okay. But another part of me made it to, like, what I've heard the community say a lot. And the community is very mixed on this card, so I did not put it on our list. But I think it has potential to, even though it's just a common, to actually be the best card in this set. Okay. And that card is Merchant of the Veil. So this card is, the first thing we're going to read is, it has the adventure mechanic. Mm-hmm. And the adventure mechanic on it is Haggle. It's a 1 red instant adventure. Okay. Where you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. So this is basically Insolent Neonate, which we're seeing played in Dredge a lot now.
Correct.
But it has another side to it. For a red and 2 colorless, which you could just cast normally. You don't have to, like, with these cards, you don't have to adventure then cast. You could just cast the creature side.
Yep.
It's a red and 2 colorless for a 2/3, which on its own, not great.
No, that's not good.
But it has an ability of 2 and a red, discard a card, draw a card, which gives you that, like, I think a lot of people say, like, the incidental damage of, like, attacking for 1 a couple turns with Neonate, which rarely happens anyways because you almost always want to use your Neonate.
I don't agree with that's like saying fetching.
Exactly.
Thins your deck.
Exactly. I think having another late game side of this card is going to be a lot more important than...
Yeah, and so when you look at this, like, it's almost like you can evaluate this card much like you did Deathrite Shaman, right? And I'm not putting it... Don't get ahead of yourself.
Josh is saying this is Deathrite Shaman. Cut the podcast.
So, when people looked at Deathrite Shaman, at first, the card was not played. Mm-hmm. Then they're like, wow, I can ramp with this card. I would like to play this card. And then they found, well, holy shit, in the late game, I can activate it, right? And I can start doing damage to my opponent. Mm-hmm. Or, loss of life to my opponent. So it's got that, it's what Richie said, it's got that late game potential to do something. So for people to kind of disregard this as everybody's looking at it through the eye of Faithless Looting. They want Faithless Looting back. They're not, the people that really were playing Faithless Looting are upset, right? Because they don't have that card anymore. And so they did something that was kind of Faithless Looting-esque. And I think they're disregarding the other side of the card. Or they're just like, well, this isn't Faithless Looting, so fuck this card. Mm-hmm. And I think what they're going to find is this card does have a lot of potential. And I think, Richie, I think you're right, for the first time in your life, that this card is actually good.
Yes, I totally agree. And I think this card is a lot more closer to Faithless Looting than people are actually thinking that it is.
Yeah, I just really like the late game. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And, like, Dredge has always been, if you ask, like, the people who have revolutionized Dredge, like Ross Merriam, for example, he says Dredge is a grindy deck. It's not a kill you fast deck.
Yep, and I used to feel that way about Burn sometimes. Like, when I would sideboard against a, if I was on the draw against a creature heavy deck, I would be like, well, I'm going to be playing control right now. So I'm going to be playing burn control because that's what I have to do to get through this match.
You're not going to try to, just burn your opponent out and race them.
Yeah, you can't race them.
You're not going to leave your lava spikes in, for example.
Oh, yeah.
That is I found playing red decks, that is the most sideboarded card out, I feel.
Very true. I had somebody actually ask me in one of my videos that I had done, they're like, why'd you take lava spikes out against this deck? And I'm like, oh, I mean, because in Magic Christmas Land, you leave the skewers in so that you can hit the Grizzlebrand because it was against Reanimator.
Okay.
So I was like, I might be able to Fire Blast, skewer a Grizzlebrand in Magic Christmas Land.
Yeah, I mean, and sometimes you just got to play for that,
Yeah, and that's, it's all about, sometimes it's about just evaluating a card and being able to see its potential. And sometimes if you don't, if you can't see the potential, other people will see that potential for you. So
exactly.
You just got to wait. All right, what's our next card?
All right, so we have a last honorable mention here in Wishclaw Talisman. So Wishclaw Talisman is 1 and a black for an artifact. It enters the battlefield with 3 wish counters on it. You can pay 1 mana, tap it, remove a wish counter from it, search your library for a card, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library. then an opponent gains control of this card. So now, originally, a lot of people will probably just push this card off as a commander card.
Correct.
You know, oh, you'll pass it around the table, except to the one guy. Fuck that guy.
Yep.
Which, probably you, if we're being honest.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to take advantage of it and kill you.
Mm-hmm. But there's actually a lot of ways to break the symmetry of this card. Especially a lot that came out in War of the Spark, for example. So you play this, you activate it, you give it to an opponent, you then play an Ashiok. Your opponent can no longer search their library.
Got you in a stranglehold, baby!
The other way is with Teferi Time Raveler. You play this, activate it, play Teferi Time Raveler, bounce it back. Oh, it goes to its owner's hand. Alright, that's me.
That's me. And
the other way is with Karn the Great Creator. You activate it, get your card, maybe get your Karn, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Play your Karn. Your opponent has it's an activated ability of an artifact. So would you look at that? Karn
Womp.
says you can't use this.
Womp womp. And don't forget about did you say Narset?
Narset doesn't stop this. It's not card draw.
Oh, it's not card draw. It's just searching.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
It's okay, Josh. You'll get there one day.
I will.
But yeah, so this is probably like the most like mana efficient tutor effect we've seen Wizards print in a while. So that on its own has a lot of potential, and the fact that you have ways to break the symmetry of this card really like also I think throws it over the top.
I think that our people that like to play smallpox decks are really going to be intrigued by this card. If they go the Ashiok route.
Yeah, maybe. I think this card's also really sweet in like Blue-Black Mill.
Yeah.
Because
people were always trying to play Marilyn the Mornsong. Do you know that card?
Yeah, I know that card.
Yeah, so it's like
there's a combo with that and Obnixilis.
Yeah.
The creature one.
Yeah. So like I mean it's a neat card. It allows you to go get it's something that deck lacks.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't know. Maybe Jason would be excited about that.
Maybe. We'll have to talk to him. But I think that's enough honorable mentions. How about we get into our actual list?
All right, number 10, baby.
Number 10 is Fabled Passage. So Fabled Passage is the new land everyone's excited about in this set.
Okay.
So it's a land. It enters the battlefield as normal. And then you can tap it, sack it, search your library for a basic land card, put it into the battlefield tapped. It's pretty decent. It's like a fetch land, right?
Yeah, it's like Evolving Wilds.
Yeah. But what if Evolving Wilds had more upside?
That would be great.
Yeah. So that's what this card is.
Yes, and then you put it in the rare slot because if you have 4 or more lands in play,
you untap that land.
You untap that land.
So in Standard, we don't have, for mana fixing, all we have in Standard right now is we have our shock lands, we have the enemy temples.
Correct.
And that's it. That's our mana fixing in Standard right now.
Okay.
This card really helps the mana base in Standard a lot. It really lets you play like your Esper deck still. It lets you play like your Teamer Elementals still.
Okay.
Even though Teamer Elementals had a decent mana base because they had 8 temples. It lets you play just like really any color combination you want because your mana is actually going to be decent.
Yeah, I like it a lot. And the art on it is fucking
the art's great,
gorgeous, man.
It's
really pretty.
On top of that, for modern senses, a lot of people have been talking about this in Amulet Titan because the land, and even if it untaps, the land enters tapped, so it will trigger Amulet of Vigor.
Yeah, and then you untap it.
So you float a mana,
Yep.
untap it again, so it's basically a bounce land, except it plays around Bloodman.
Okay, so it gives them a little more reach then.
A little bit more protection, I'd say.
Protection?
Yeah.
Okay.
So our number 9 card is going to be it was one of the first cards we actually seen in the set, and I still don't think the card's like excitement and power level has really been, peaked or even talked about completely. And this card is
Dude, they're saying
Oko.
this is going to be a $32 card. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Go ahead.
Oko, Thief of Crowns. So it's 1 green and a blue for a legendary planeswalker Oko. He starts at 4 loyalty. That's really high. For a +2, which takes him up to 6, you can create a food token. Which a food token, as we talked about before, is pay 2 mana, sack it, gain 3 life. So there's actually been a lot of talk about like random incidental food cards being played in Modern for like decks that don't have a lot of good cards against burn. Like, a lot of people have talked about looking into playing some food cards in, like, Grixis, for example.
Yeah.
Because they never really had good life gain.
The only thing they had was Vampiric Link.
Yeah.
Right.
Or, like, Collective Brutality.
Yeah, or Brutality, yeah.
Oko's +1 is target artifact or creature loses all abilities and becomes a green out creature token with base power and toughness 3/3.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like a pseudo Beast Within. But the fun thing with this is because it just becomes that, if you have a +1/+1 counter on it, they actually keep it. So like in Standard with Dreadhorde Invasion, you pay, it's basically like Bitter Blossom,
okay.
but it stacks it all on one creature. So you make that into an elk, it keeps those counters, and then you get to make another 1/1 because it's not the same creature type anymore.
Ooh, that's cute.
Yeah. And then his ultimate, quote unquote, is -5. Exchange control of target artifact or creature you control with any target creature and opponent controls with power 3 or less. So yeah, you know that goblin guide over there. Have a food. You know that devoted druid you got over there.
Yeah, eat it.
Have a food.
Have a snack.
Here you go. I made you this.
Snack.
So this Planeswalker has a lot of power. There's been a lot of talk about him potentially seeing Modern play, as well as he's going to be great in Standard, because food tokens are really good in that format.
Yeah, it's not a fucking Kiora.
Yeah.
It's a 3-drop.
It's an Oko.
Yeah, it's an Oko, and it seems playable.
Oko.
What is it? What is the creature type Oko? I've never even heard of it. I haven't seen it.
All Planeswalkers have their types there.
Yeah, but do you know what an Oko is?
This is Oko.
Okay, I mean he's a good-looking guy.
Kiora's Kiora. Tamiyo's Tamiyo.
Okay, so it's just a name.
Tezzeret's Tezzeret.
I gotcha. I didn't know if it was a creature type. If they could make more Okos.
I mean, they can, but it'd
Cool.
be another Oko Planeswalker.
So what do you think about the price on this guy? You think it's going to stay at $32? Because I feel like it's going to chop
It'll
it
probably
half.
like 20.
Yeah, 15.
I don't think it'll be 15.
Okay.
I think this card's at least $20.
Cool.
Maybe more if it sees a lot of play. We'll have to. Depends on how Standard falls.
All right, what number is this?
All right, this is number 8. Moving into number 8, we got the other big Planeswalker in the set. He's back. Everyone's really excited. We've seen him in the commercial, which is Garruk, Cursed Huntsman. So Garruk, Cursed Huntsman is a 4 colorless black and green Planeswalker that starts at 5 loyalty. Now, he does not have a plus.
Okay.
He has a 0 ability instead. 0, create 2/2/2 black and green wolf tokens with, whenever this creature dies, put a loyalty counter on each Garruk Planeswalker you control.
Yeah, so when I read this thing, I thought, man, that's really fucking strong. So I think not only commander-wise is this card going to be really cool, I
want to see Garruk Tribal in Modern.
I mean, God, it's almost not possible, but yeah, I would like to see it too.
It's got to be like an against the odds Saffron Olive deck, right?
I mean, yeah, just
like he's gonna play it.
Yeah, of course. Somebody's gonna message him and be like, Garruk deck, make it. But yeah, like this card, I think this card's gonna see a lot of Standard play.
Oh yeah,
a lot of Standard play.
It's very Elspeth Sun's Champion-esque.
Yes. So if you are gonna be playing Standard for the foreseeable future, you better get your ass and get you some Garruks, because even I think $14 is probably about where I think $14-15 is where it's gonna be. That's
about where Elspeth was, if I remember.
Yeah, I think she was in the $20 range.
Yeah.
And then now she's like, I think she's like $7, $6 or $7 after she rotated. But yeah, this card, 100%, you're going to be playing this card in Standard.
Yeah.
At some point.
And so the other 2 abilities on Garruk are -3, destroy target creature, draw a card. Great. That's 2 for 1.
Ballin'.
-6, you get an emblem with creatures you control get +3/+3 and have trample.
Overrun.
So overrun.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen a lot of Planeswalkers in the past have overrun.
Yeah, overrun.
But this one goes really fast. Like, you block with a wolf, and you overrun Garruk the next turn.
It's really funny, yeah. It's really funny that they didn't give him a plus ability because he is fucking strong. He's strong as shit.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing we've seen with like a lot of Garruks. Like They don't have it here, but the flip one from Innistrad didn't have a plus.
Yeah.
Until you flipped him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for this card. I think he's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
I think he might have a chance to see sideboard play in Modern. You know, Elspeth sees some play, so
yeah.
Why can't Grook?
Grook can see a one-off.
Yeah.
Mirror Breaker.
All right, so we got number 7 moving on in here, which is a card for, Standard it's going to be fine, but I think a lot of people will probably not understand why I have this card above something like Oko or Fabled Passage, but...
When I saw this card and I looked at it, because I didn't look at spoilers, and I just said in my head, holy shit, why did they do this?
Yeah.
Because I always find myself wanting to be able to have an artifact to tutor up to fucking murder a creature or get rid of a permanent or whatever, and you always just had Spine of Ishtar.
So you want to read this to
Sure.
the chat?
Sorry,
So
I
that
guess I'm
way...
so excited. So, Glass Casket is 1 white and a colorless, and it's an artifact, and it says, when Glass Casket enters the battlefield, exile target creature an opponent controls with CMC 3 or less until Glass Casket leaves the battlefield.
So it's a Silk Rat, but it's an artifact, which, as a lot of people know in Modern, is very relevant with a card known as Whir of Invention.
Mm-hmm.
So before, Wurza had to draw into their Assassin's Trophies, Brutalities, or Galvanic Blast if they wanted to kill a Collector Oof.
Yes.
Now you have a Whir of Invention target for Collector Oof.
You do.
That also makes mana with your Urzas.
Yep, and now it doesn't protect them from Stony Silence, though, right? But that card doesn't do anything against them, correct? I mean, it doesn't do enough.
Urza gets to make mana still.
Yeah,
so.
It doesn't do enough against them.
So
cool.
that,
I like that's
the card I can see people not really understanding why it's on the list, but when you really think about it, the card's power level really.
Yep, it's
really
gonna be, I think it's gonna be pretty high, and I think it's gonna be very playable in Standard, right? I mean, Silk Wrap was. Great when it was in.
It'll see sideboard play probably.
Okay.
I don't know if it'll see main board play because we don't really have a really aggressive white, mono white deck right now, but.
Okay.
All right, so moving on to number 6, we have Charming Prince.
Ooh, he's a handsome man.
He is. He's very handsome.
He's so charming.
We better make sure Steve's not looking right now.
He's charming.
But so Charming Prince is a 2/2 for a white and a colorless, so it's a grizzly bear.
Is he wearing a tutu?
He should be.
Okay.
And when he enters the battlefield, you can choose one. You can either scry 2, you can either gain 3 life, or you can exile another target creature you own, return it to the battlefield under your control at the beginning of the next end step.
Okay.
So in humans, you can flicker your Thalia's Lieutenants, you can flicker your...
Value.
You can flicker a creature they're about to kill with, and you have an Aether Vial on 2.
Mm-hmm.
You can flicker your the Buglers.
Oh yeah.
But also in early game, you can scry 2, which the math has been, I forget who it was. I think it was Frank Karsten did the math to figure out how scrying equivalents to drawing cards, and he said scrying 2 was about the same as drawing a card.
Okay.
With the card advantage you get off it.
Yeah.
So, I think this card's really good. I would not be surprised to see it replacing Night of Autumn in humans. You might still play Night of Autumn though because it destroys an artifact or enchantment.
Yeah, correct.
But I can see this also seeing a lot of play in the Bant Soul Hoarder decks because it's an extra flicker ability in that. It grows your Soul Hoarders. It's early life gain. They really need they don't have a lot of card selection. They have things that say draw a card, but having this much utility on the card I think is a lot better than just straight up drawing a card.
Yeah. I wish they would have made this thing a knight also. That would have been cool.
Yeah, I don't know how much it would have changed for Standard, but...
I know. I'm just pushing the knights, man. I love casting White Knight and Black Knight when I was a kid, man.
Yeah.
Shit was great.
Were those your things as a kid?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Well, if you want to get hype about a knight, we can move on to our number 5, which is Murderous Rider. Probably the best knight they printed. Might see a little bit of Eternal format play, but really this card's for Standard. It's Murderous Rider, and he's an adventure, where the adventure side is Swift End. It's 2 black and 1 colorless for an instant. Destroy target creature or planeswalker, you lose 2 life. Tears Downfall. We finally have just a mono-colored 3 mana Hero's Downfall back in Standard.
Very beautiful.
And while they gave it a downside, they also gave it a little bit of an upside. Because you can cast the creature half of Murderous Rider, which is a 2/3 lifelinker, which can, gain you back that life you lost from the other half. But when it dies, you can put it on the bottom. You don't get the choice. You put it on the bottom of its owner's library. Mm-hmm. So,
I like this card a lot, man. I think this card's
really strong.
Yeah. This is what's actually, we've been talking about Knights the past, 3 weeks now? Ever since this card was spoiled. Like, not every night, but several of the nights have just been going up.
We talk about it every night.
We talk about Monday night. But yeah, this has been really helping the financial side of Knights. So I think this card's cool. I'm excited for Standard players because they get that Hero's Downfall. And then the cool part about this is once you're done using it, then you can cast it as a creature. Mm-hmm. Do you want to talk about that now, or do you want to talk about that after? About the zone stuff?
We can talk about it now if you want.
Cool. So I didn't know this, and so once you cast this, and maybe you guys don't know this either, but once you cast the Swift End portion of it and you kill something, well, then it goes into a different zone. And what is that? Do you know what the zone is called? Well, it doesn't
go into a different zone. It goes into exile.
Okay, it goes into exile.
But they have like a special token you can put it.
But I thought there was a regular exile, and then there was a exile for this.
No.
Okay.
It's the same exile.
Okay.
It's just like you have a token you can put to represent like these have been exiled on their adventure.
Okay. So it just it kind of changes things up. It's kind of different for judges.
Well, it'd be insane because otherwise every single card in the set would combo with Food Chain.
Okay. So that's why it goes in the same exiled zone.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, cool.
So, at least that's the reasoning why I think they did it this way.
Yeah.
Maybe that's me putting my Eternal Format tinfoil hat on, but...
Yeah, it could be.
Alright, but we're going to move on to number 4, which I'm really excited about because I'm a Standard player. Josh doesn't quite see it, but my number 4 is Gilby Goose. So, for 1 green, you get an O2, flying. When it enters the battlefield, create a food token.
Go ahead.
Do you need to go hunting?
I just had to get a couple honks in while you were saying it. Okay, I'm done honking.
I'm looking for a new podcast partner. This guy's canceled.
Okay, I'm done.
Definitely canceled. So for a green and a colorless, you can tap him and create another food token. But you can just tap him, sack a food, and add a mana of any color. So originally people thought, oh, it's just going to be like a Lotus Petal. But with cards like Oko, for example, or even on its own, like, you find yourself having 2 mana open a decent amount of time when you need it. And, like, normally you can, like, go on turn 3, after you play your 2-drop, you can play a 2-drop and then make a food still.
Yeah.
So I think this card is going to be very good in Standard. It's obviously no Birds of Paradise.
No.
But I think it's... A lot of people were upset that Llanowar Elf rotated, and I think this might be better than Llanowar Elf.
Yeah, it's kind of like that Fabled guy, right? The guy that is like, has that late game ability.
It reminds me a lot of Sylvan carried it, actually.
Okay.
The way that it plays.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, like, it fixes mana in a format where mana otherwise would be really tough.
Yeah, and it's a 1-drop, so that kind of helps. If it
That,
was a 2-drop, I think it would be unplayable, right?
Sure, yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, that's about it on the Goose, you know. Good old Goose.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it. Get out. So moving on to number 3, we're actually going to talk about a fairy. I know I said not many of them are good, but this one I think definitely is. So we got Fav Wishes, which has an adventure side, which is Granted. Which, for a blue and 3 colorless, you get a sorcery that says you may choose a non-creature card you own from outside of the game, reveal it, and put it into your hand. It's a wish.
It is a wish. It's a blue wish.
It's a blue wish, but it's also very, very open for what it gets.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of wishes are very specific, and I think that's why this is, like, you know, a little more expensive than your traditional wish. But it gets so many things.
Yeah.
It can get planeswalkers, it can get artifacts, it can get instants, it can get sorceries, it can get enchantments, it can get the kitchen sink if it wants to.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, you're right. I don't know why this card.
It can tutor for a card, and you can play your card and then tutor for an artifact.
$1.99 this card is at right now.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think this card's really good.
I think this card is easily probably
$10.
$7 to $10.
Yeah.
I was gonna say $6, $7, $8, $9, $10. I mean, it just depends.
Yeah.
Like, does it go into Modern? I think so.
Maybe.
I think it can.
I think you can go into Legacy a lot.
I think it goes into Legacy, but like you already have Cunning Wish. I mean, I know
Yeah.
I know it has its downsides,
but like this can get you your Omniscience, or this can get you your Sneak Attack.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I think with taking that tinfoil hat off, I mean, you know, for Eternal formats, I think this is Modern playable, and I think it starts to see a little more Modern play than we think. Eventually, I think it's going to take the right person to build the right deck, but I think that this card will see Modern play, and I think it'll be a pretty powerful card.
I'm interested to see if you're right or not.
Yeah.
The creature half of it, by the way, before we go on to the next card, is one blue and a colorless for a 1/4 flyer. That for a blue and a colorless, you can discard 2 cards and return it to your hand. So you can kind of get to keep reusing that wish side.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah. So next up on our number 2 card is a card I personally think is probably overhyped in this set. I think it is very good, and I think it will have home in Eternal formats.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's okay in Standard, and that is Once Upon a Time. So Once Upon a Time is a green and a colorless instant that if it's the first spell you cast this game, you can cast it without paying its mana cost. So it's got a little bit of a ley line effect there with it. And what its ability is you can look at the top 5 cards of your library, you may reveal a creature or land card from among them, put it into your hand, and then you put the rest on the bottom in any order. So a lot of people are talking about this card with Tron. And this card, I understand why people think it would be good in Tron.
Okay,
you know,
well, let me tell everybody first, in case they don't know, that you're Tron guy.
Yeah.
You're in our chat as Tron guy.
Yeah.
You know, you've done some good work with Tron on paper and online. So you can talk intelligently about this. So
I can.
Go on.
Hopefully.
I had to give the little precursor.
All right. Yeah. You gotta.
It's
like what I gotta do when you talk about Burn and people.
Correct.
Want to just brush you off, but I'm like.
Yeah.
No, this guy's been playing Burn since you've been wearing diapers.
Yeah, you gotta listen to me.
Yeah.
You know, I may not be right, but it's an intelligent thought.
Yeah.
So
the ups to this over Ancient Stirring. Yeah, obviously the first one is free.
Mm-hmm.
Tron generally will have 2 mana to be able to spend on this card. You know, a lot of decks, the difference between 1 and 2 is huge. Tron is not really one of those decks.
Mm-hmm.
But that is about where the upside ends.
Now, this was what I said when this card was spoiled was, so does this card just replace Sylvan Scrying? Tell us why it does not, Richie.
Well, Sylvan Scrying is a search. Like, being able to search is way different than looking at the top 5.
Correct.
The card people are saying it replaces Ancient Stirrings more than Sylvan Scrying.
Yep.
And the thing a lot of people aren't considering is a lot of the times in Tron, you're not looking to just hit lands with this. Like, people think, oh, you use Ancient Stirrings to get Tron. But you use Ancient Stirrings a lot when you have Tron to find things like your Karn Liberated or your Oblivion Stones or like a lot of times you take a Sphere or a Star off it because you just want to, you know, dig another card deeper.
Correct.
You don't really want like that like 15th mana source.
Yes.
Or, you know, the only creatures you really play are like 3 Worm Coil Engines,
and then
a couple ballistas,
yeah.
and then like an Ulamog. So you don't actually have a lot of creatures in your deck.
Yeah, so you're going to whiff on that creature portion. So it's
Exactly.
basically just going to say, that's why I believe that, I think you're right, is because it says the colorless portion, right? It's missing that.
Yes.
And Tron is full of colorless portions.
It is.
So
Primarily colorless.
Yeah, and so I think this card is very, very fucking powerful.
Yes. And I think this card is literally insane. Like, I think this card may be what it takes to get Neobrand banned.
Okay.
Because that deck just, like, wants more free spells. And this finds its lands, it finds its Allosaurus Riders, like...
Yeah. And so we're seeing this card come out at $14, right?
Yeah.
It's pre-ordering at $14. We're going to have to see where this card lands. My guess is it's a $5 to $7 card.
Yeah, I think that's a little high. I think a lot of that price is people saying it's good in Tron.
Yeah, and so I think it's a $5 to $7 card. Now, if this card actually is absolutely insane and it starts, it sees legacy play and it makes decks better. And
I do think this is good in like Belcher.
I think this card's going to be insane in legacy. I just don't know where it's like what form it's going to take. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know how insane it's gonna be in Legacy, but I think in like the try to kill you turn 1 decks, I think it'll be fine.
Yeah. I think it's really good for those decks.
Yeah.
I think it can probably help some of those archetypes that maybe used to not be amazing. Like your Belcher decks. It could help that. But I think that as for standard, I mean, is this card? What's this card's power level in standard?
It's like fine in standard. Like I've been seeing it anywhere between a 1 to a 4 of literally like every number between 1 and 4 in standard, and it's really unknown because it's kind of awkward, but like it's also a big card selection for standard. Like the last time we've seen something like this was Commune with Dinosaurs. And that was pretty specific, being only a land or a dinosaur.
Yeah.
So this being any creature and an instant is pretty strong. You can hold up your removal.
I think this card's going to see a lot of play in standard the more I talk about it.
I think it will definitely see standard play. It is awkward though, because like if it's not in your opening hand, you do have to spend 2 mana.
Yeah.
Which isn't as big of a deal in standard, but it is still a deal.
Yeah. Cool. So look out for this card. I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm on the fence about this card's power level. I think this card's power level is high. But how high is this card?
I completely agree.
Yeah, I can't see it breaking things in half or being insane and getting things banned. I don't see that, but I do see this maybe helping some archetypes out and maybe being a solid 4 of in a lot of formats.
Yeah,
so
I agree. But you know what card there is no debate on how high its power level is?
Yeah, it's this.
It's our number 1
I can
card.
see it on the other screen.
Which, no surprise to many people who have been keeping up, it's Emery, Lurker of the Lock. So, Emery, Lurker of the Lock is a 3-mana 1/2. That's not very good. But, do you remember... You've played Magic for a while. Do you remember Mirrored in Standard?
I do.
Do you remember the Mechanic Affinity?
I do.
Do you remember how it literally broke Standard in half?
Yes.
Well, they gave this card Affinity. So, Emery costs 1 less for each artifact you control. So it's very easy to turn 1 this card in Eternal formats.
Yeah, well, even in Modern, I mean, it's a pretty cool card in Modern.
Yeah, Eternal formats. Modern's Eternal.
Yeah, sure.
So when you cast her for 1 mana on turn 1, you just go like Mishra's Bauble, Mox Opal Emery. Yeah. Pretty easy, honestly.
Yeah.
If you go into Vintage, it gets even crazier. You just cast her off a Mox.
Yes.
But when she enters the battlefield, you mill the top 4 cards of your library. And then when she's unsummoning sick, you can tap her, target an artifact in your graveyard, and you may cast that card this turn. So,
this card is
you get back your Mishra's Baubles, you get back your Engineered Explosives, you get back your Bridge from Below when they destroy it.
I think
in Vintage, you get back your Black Lotus.
Yeah, dude, they're gonna have to
This is gonna get restricted in Vintage, right?
Yeah, I mean, it has to, or ban.
They don't ban.
They don't ban things.
No, they don't ban.
Restricted.
Yeah, I mean, Karn's not restricted, and like
they don't. I literally never played Vintage in my entire life.
Yeah, they don't ban in Vintage. They should. But man,
they should ban this card.
No, they should just restrict.
It's good. It's gonna be restricted.
This card's really good.
So what do you think about the $8 price tag?
Way too low.
Too low?
Too low. The other thing with this card that I didn't quite mention yet, there's actually a lot of people talking about it in Modern with comboing with Jeskai Ascendancy. So if you have this and any 0-mana artifact in your graveyard that's not a creature, you get to keep untapping her, and so she'll become an infinite power. And you'll also like draw and discard through your deck. So you'll eventually find a Mox Opal and make infinite mana also.
Ooh. Very cool.
So this card's power level is insane.
I like Jeskai Ascendancy, man. It doesn't get enough credit.
That's like one of my favorite cards.
Yeah, it just doesn't get enough credit.
So
I like this, man. This is,
buy your Emerys now. we're about to transition into finance.
Yeah.
First finance, buy your Emerys.
Yes, please do yourself a favor. Buy this card.
Maybe pre-order your foils. They're only $23.
Yeah, I can just see regular copies going up to like the $15 to $20 mark pretty easily.
Oh yeah.
So you basically get free foils right
I
now.
can see this being Hogak.
For what format?
Yes.
You're scared of this card?
I think this card is probably the most powerful card they've printed in Standard since Mox Opal. Okay. Well, Mox Opal wasn't even good in Standard.
No,
this card's gonna. This card might do things in Standard. There's some cool artifacts you can cheat with it.
Yeah, we'll see how it shapes up in Standard.
Yeah. So yeah, let's move into finance. Talking about artifacts. Yeah.
The old Mr. Opal.
The old goose keeps on rising.
Yeah.
You know.
All right.
Mox Opal. You know, it's. Can you even recommend people to buy this card? Like.
I mean, so yeah, I had to pick up 2 of these last week. For somebody at the store, and Mox Opal is, I think it was like, so they're at $122. They're saying right now on the finance page, right?
They've been at 90
MTG stocks.
They've been at like 100 since like March.
Yeah, they've been $100 bills, but they are actually, if you go onto TCG Player, I think the lowest one was like 108 or 106 or something like that, and it was like heavy played ones, right? So
you're spending a band if you want this card.
Yeah, so it's $100. It's probably about $110 for you to get, or $120 to get a light plate one. So I mean, can I recommend a hold on this card? No, you can't recommend a hold on this card. There's nothing you can do. It's kind of like when Liliana's were $100. And you wanted to play Liliana, like, you just don't have a choice. Like, you're just fucked. You have to buy your opals if you want opals. But what I always recommend is do yourself a favor, trade into them. You know, find somebody like us. You know, find a store that can.
Yeah, that's something we should work on online.
What's that?
Getting a like buy list.
Yeah, we don't have a buy list up, but I mean we use TCG's players buy list for the most part, you know, because.
Well, I'm just thinking like so that way people can like ship us like cards.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's something that we're gonna work on.
We gotta write that on the board.
Write that on the board.
Yeah.
Get a buy list, but yeah, Mox Opal is something where it's just like, man, if you want to play Modern, you just need this card. You're just shit out of luck. So
I have like 5 Modern decks and don't own a single Mox Opal.
Well, I mean, yeah, but you don't play Mox Opal decks.
Yeah.
You know, you can pass through Modern and not play Mox Opal decks, but it is the #1 deck in the format right now, I believe. You know, with Wurza.
Yeah, I'm actually more of a fan of the Outcome deck that LSV's been playing a lot of lately. I think that deck is going to be really. I think it's going to be underrated for a little bit, and then I think someone's going to take it to a tournament and just destroy. I think that deck's insanely powerful.
I'm excited to see that. But yeah, as for Mox Opal right now, yep, I don't see it going down. That's my answer to that.
I feel like we're gonna get like a Judge promo or something that'll help lower this
I mean,
price.
but what's it gonna go back down to? $100? I mean, is that that just sucks?
I think we can maybe get it to the 90s. Like.
I hope so.
Next, we got another card that I can't recommend you to buy Stoneforge. That's almost $80.
I also would say that you want to hold on Stoneforge.
I don't even know if this card's good in Modern yet.
Yeah, so this is something that is.
It's fine, but
it's an okay card. It's pretty good. You know, it has the ability to take over games. With you know, having a batter skull if your opponent just like, yeah, I can't get rid of that goddamn thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have one of my 10 pieces of removal that I have in my deck, so I guess I lose this one.
Yeah.
Because I've run into Stoneforge in Modern and just not been able to get rid of it. You know, I had like a Lava Spike or.
Yeah.
You know.
It happens.
Yeah, I was a turn too slow with my Rift Bolt or whatever, or turn too late.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Stoneforge Mystic. I think it's a really great card. I think it's great in Modern to own a playset of these, but I wouldn't recommend getting a playset right now. I'd hold off. I'd wait till it comes back down.
A lot of the decks, like the Stoneforge package, is pretty replaceable too.
Yeah.
Like there's other things you can play for a little bit.
Well, everybody was just trying to jam the Stoneforge package into every deck to see what happens. They're just like, am I gonna break this deck? I'm gonna put Batterskull and one of the swords in and 4 stone forges. Like, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you're spending more than $50 a piece on these, I'd really, really, really like to see a $30 to $40 Stoneforge Mystic.
I don't think we'll see that with her being in Modern now. I think that's what she was when she was banned. So I think we'll see around like a $50 Stoneforge.
That's what I'm saying. I think...
Which is what she was for a while, but then she jumped again, apparently.
Yeah, so try to do your best. Hold fast on this. I believe it's going to come back down to $50. Yeah. So, yep, that's my advice.
All right, and our last one is one it is a high price tag, but I would, if you plan to play much Legacy or Modern, I would say to probably pick these up, and that's Prismatic Vista. So Prismatic Vista is the Modern Horizons Evolving Wilds, basically, where it's your traditional fetch land where you pay a life and you can search for a land, but you can only get a basic. But, this fixes for 11 different things, as we found out today.
Yes, it does.
You get your snowman off it.
That's right.
You can get your normal basics. You can get your wastes off it. So
I would love to see a deck that fetches Prismatic Vista into a waste.
They exist. Like,
yeah, I know. I'd love to
the
watch
green
that.
white Eldrazi deck plays it.
Yep, it's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like this, I don't see this card going down. I see it unless like a bunch of Modern Horizons gets opened.
Yeah, I think this card has the potential to go down to $20.
It's the Ren and 6 syndrome,
Yeah.
Because this set is unlimited print run to my knowledge. So if people start cracking packs, we'll see the price of this in Ren and 6 and Season Pyro and Urza go down. But nobody wants to crack packs.
Yeah.
Everybody just wants their cards.
Sure do. Yeah, so I think this card has the possibility to stay at the $30 range, but like Richie said, the more packs that get opened, the more it's going to drive this price down to that $20, $15, $20 range where it was before. But the one thing that I would recommend is if you're a foil whore, I would recommend picking this card up ASAP because if it does have the ability to not get opened very much, you're going to miss out on this.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be difficult to find this at anywhere under $100.
Yeah.
So if you are looking into getting foils of this card, I would say do that now. But I don't know if I would I would give this thing a little bit of time if you're needing one because it has the possibility to go back down to $20. What you looking up for them?
Foil Prismatic Vista.
Oh, nice. Foil Prismatic Vista. I think I just picked one up a few weeks ago, and I want to say that they're in the $60 range, right?
Yeah, they're about $55.
That's the buy list.
Oh.
They $100 almost. They're $94.
Maybe don't pick these up right now.
I don't know. I don't. We'll see. Again,
yeah, we'll see.
How much does it get open?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what it depends on.
For sure.
Interesting. All right, so we got our cheap pickups this week too.
Yes, we do. And Liliana Dreadhorde General.
So she's $14. Mm-hmm. She's still in standard.
Yep.
And I don't think I can tell people to buy this card.
No, it's kind of a shitter.
Buy Garruk instead.
Yeah, hell yeah. Use that
Garruk.
Use that $13.79 to buy you.
I bet you can get a Garruk on TCG for $13.79.
Hell yeah, you can. Go get it.
I don't remember his name. We're not gonna.
All right.
Echo of Eons. We've said this last week, maybe the week before that too.
No, there's been multiple weeks.
We've talked about this card. Buy this card.
Yes.
This card's great.
Yeah, if you need this card, if you need Poor Man's
Time
Twister, which
but also
is not,
Legacy Time Twister,
which is not Days Undoing anymore. It's this card. Yeah, get yourself this card because this card's great.
And we've talked about Tezzeret the Pooper.
Yeah, Artifice Master.
Oh, he got a little lazy this week with the cheap pickup. Yeah. Maybe it was his nap time. Maybe he warmed up his milk and he was like, "Fuck, I gotta throw some cheap pickups on."
Yeah, the guy that's doing the MTG stocks. He's like, "All right, last one. We're gonna put Tezzeret back in there again." Yeah, so that's kind of a shitter. But yeah, finance is kind of in a. I would say it's not super volatile right now, other than in Modern with the Stoneforge stuff going on. And of course, you always have all your new cards are going to come out way too high.
Oh yeah.
So you got to make sure that you're careful with that. So when we talk about like, hey, how much is this card? How much is this card going to be? Those are things that you need as a player to evaluate when you're going to pick these singles up. Now, you're not always going to get these cards when you crack packs either. So,
Ooh, he's gone down.
Yeah, running 6. So, yeah, that's another one. Running 6 is kind of is starting to taper off a little bit at what, 80 bucks?
Yeah,
75, 80
it's
bucks.
like 83.
Yeah, so it's not your $100 bill anymore.
Maybe packs are getting open then.
They could be. Yeah, they could be. Because, like, I mean, when you open this, man, you're just like, TCG player right now. Got to get this thing up because, I mean, you're halfway there for your box, you know. So, yeah. Finance is in a decent spot right now.
Yeah, it's fun because we've had a lot of unique sets come out recently.
Yeah.
But all right, as per usual, before we get out of here, we want to tell you guys where to find us. You can find Josh at Mom's Basement MTG on Twitter. You know, a lot of
posting cheesecake.
I see that.
I posted cheesecake
where's that
yesterday. Ooh, yeah, look at you. Get a little food porn there, huh?
Dude, I love cheesecake.
Dude, that's Piper's in it's...
Yeah, I've been to Piper's.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's owned by the same people that own Big Bear Lodge, right?
Yep. She said, she looked at me, which is insane that she even said this. She said, well, we have cheesecake, but we have caramel, we have chocolate, and then we have strawberries and raspberries. I said, okay, everything you just said but the raspberries...
You don't like raspberries?
I like schnozberries. I was like, put that shit on there.
Schnozberries? Tastes like schnozberries?
So I said, yeah, give me some of that caramel, girl. Give me some of that chocolate, and give me some of them strawberries. And she did. And it was a beautiful day.
Nice.
Yep. I only ate about half of that.
I'm excited for my birthday. I normally get a cheesecake instead of cake.
I'm
a big cheesecake guy.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, so I do post some cheesecake stuff.
I don't post cheesecake, but I really should.
Yeah, start posting some food, man. You know, those foodies out there, they get excited.
Cat pics from Matt Mitchie's house.
Nice, yeah. The doing the animal thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, you can find me at Richard T MTG. You know, I talk about a lot of stuff, a lot of Magic, a lot of memes, a lot of League of Legends. Been posting about music lately. Been on like a Blink 182 kick. So yeah, that just message me if you want to talk to me about anything on Twitter.
For sure. All right, you guys, we appreciate you guys stopping by this week and listening to us. Also coming and watching us on Twitch.
Thank you guys for listening to us on SoundCloud.
Yes, and if you guys are into Full Figured Men, don't forget, Monday at 5:30, you can always come check us out and, you know, come and haggle us a little bit. Could be a boat.